Okay, so last time we have done the purification using affinity chromatography. Okay, so if you look at this, can you see the image clearly? This one? Maybe sometimes Izati can respond to my voice because I cannot hear anything. Can you?
Yep, clear,
Okay.
clear.
Okay. So this one, what we have. Okay. So we have here chromatography, a chromatogram, from affinity chromatography. So as we know that we have here using, we have the graph here, 200 absorbent 280, where you have taken using spectrophotometer by
Sangkut,
using
Doktor.
Hellman and Frankfurt. Okay. We have here absorbent 280 against time or the fraction. You have collected all of this using fraction, using your appendix tube, right, where you label with F, W, and E. Okay. This graph basically is not supposed to be like this, but I just want to make it easier for you to understand. We have here absorbent 280 versus time and volume, or volume. Okay, it's either one, time or volume. For the first part, we have the flow through, where we have numbers of protein coming out. Okay, absorbent 280 will detect the presence of the protein. Okay, so we have here flow through with all the impurities. Then you can see a lot of protein being eluted, not eluted, coming out from the flow tube, from the flow through. And then after that, once done, it is where we have the washing step. The washing step where we should not detect any protein. We need to keep washing with a washing buffer until the baseline, the 280 absorbent reaching the baseline, I mean 0. Okay, once you have seen the baseline touching 0, I mean the solution, the liquid in the washing tube touching 0, it's time for you to start to apply elution buffer. Okay, once you start to elute, apply the elution buffer, you can see there's a peak here. This peak where you apply the elution buffer, and then after that, after elution, there will be nothing more. Okay, if you plot this peak, I mean whatever, how many fractions in here, and then here, if you do the lipase assay, where you need to do the lipase assay. Lipase assay can only be done once you have completed the purification. You cannot simply do the lipase assay while running the purification. Okay. So if, for example, if you collect, if you have, wait. Okay. If we have, just imagine we have a few fraction for, we have few fraction for flow through. So if you assay all this fraction, you will see that the lipase activity is almost nothing, but maybe some, just a little bit. I mean, some leftover still here. You can see low activity of the lipase. And then when, if you assay, perform the assay during the washing step, basically there will be no activity because there is no protein. Even though if there is some protein, it does not belong to lipase. Okay. and then you keep washing, and then when you do assay for the elution tube here, there may be two fraction here, or maybe three, or maybe one, depending on the way you collect this protein, I mean the solution. And let's say you have here 1, 2, 3 fraction. Tube number, maybe starting here, tube number 1. This is tube number 13, something like that, 14 and 15. When you do, why you select this fraction? Because it shows some peak for absorbent 280. That's why you choose this fraction to conduct lipase assay. Lipase assay meaning that when you do the, uh, if you still remember, you use the olive oil as a substrate, and then you get absorbent using absorbent 250 nanometer. You get the green color assay. Okay, so from here you have 1, 2, 3 fraction. When you do assay for all these fraction, then you notice, wow, there's huge lipase activity in here. It proves that, okay, from the flow through, the protein that you apply from the crude, it binds perfectly, or yeah, it's good, optimally to the matrix. That's why there is less lipase activity in here. And then when you start to elute, everything bind here will just successfully be eluted uh, in the elution fraction. Okay, um, based on this, roughly we can just say that, okay, this result will give you at least more than 90% recovery or yield. If you still remember your purification table, you have the section, which one of the column, which show the result for the yield and recovery. So most of you didn't get this much. So yeah, let's see where's yours, which kind of graph is yours. So this is, I would say, this is the best. This is the expected graph or chromatogram that we want, basically. We want to have zero activity here together with the washing, and then we want to have a lot of activity during the elution, meaning that we have collected all the lipase activity in here. For example, if you start with the total activity with 200 unit, you want by the end of this tube, 3 tubes, if you combine the activity from these 3 tubes, you get about 180 unit. If you get 180 unit, meaning that only 20 unit lost somewhere in here. So this 80 units comes in from these 3 tubes. Okay, comes from these 3 fraction. Okay, so let's go next. If you look at this, okay, this is different pattern. Similar chromatogram. Okay, still we have flow through, washing, and elution. Okay, this I use different color, which is purple color, so that easy to differentiate between the first one. Okay, if you look at here, when you do lipase assay, I mean to check on the lipase activity in the flow through fraction. When you assay this, a few tubes from here, you can see a lot of lipase activity. I mean high in lipase activity in here. There must be something wrong because the binding is so poor, because the binding poor to the matrix. That means is the lipase is not bound properly to the matrix. That's why it is being washed out. I mean, it is being wasted in the flow through. It coming out in the flow through fraction. Okay, and then after that, you apply the washing buffer. Okay, until there is nothing in the washing buffer, and then you start to dilute with the higher concentration of imidazole here. Then you get elution fraction, and then from the elution fraction, you start to assay the activity in here. So if you look at here, the activity for the flow through much higher than, I mean, the elution. Okay, so what we can see here, this is because of low quality of purification. The yield, I would say, mostly only 20% because majority of the protein, majority of the lipase lost here. Okay, what left? Only 20%. Like we discussed earlier, if you have 200 unit, if you have started with 200 unit, maybe by the end of the purification, you get only 30 unit or something, or maybe 50 unit. So it is really less. This is what you have got in your purification. Most of you got all this, but some of you got a pretty good, like 50% over here. If you have 50% here, that means you lost 50% in here. So that's why there's no such thing. You start with 200 unit, by the end of the day, you got 2,000 unit. Where the 2,000 unit here is, I don't know, is where do you think that the extra life is come from? It's impossible because you have started with only 200. By the end of the day, you should get um, lesser than this. Or if you are good enough, you can get exactly whatever you have loaded. But normally, yeah, nobody can get the exactly whatever you have started. Okay, so what can be discussed here? What can say here? I would say it is poor binding of the metric that we used in the column. So it will exceed the binding capacity of the resin. For example, if you have 20 milligram per mil of the resin to bind the protein, but the sample size where you load to the metric is 50 milligram. This is we are talking about the lipase here. So if the metric, the resin in the column can capture only 20, but you loaded 50, that means 30 milligram of the his protein will be loose here. That's why you can detect here. Okay, and then by the end of the day, you manage to capture only 20 milligram because the resin, the metric you use only can capture 20 milligram of protein. If you use 1 mil, in order to, if you have 50 milligram of protein, that means you should use at least 3 mil. If you have 3 mil, that means you have 60 milligram of the resin ready to capture 50 milligram of your protein. Okay, for this case, the column can only bind 20, but you load 50. That's why whenever the protein, I mean your target protein cannot bind to the metric, it will just being washed out in the flow through section. Okay, so if you have any question, you can just raise up your hand, but or else we can move to the next graph, how it looks like. So the next one, it is like this. Okay, you see here, you have the still absorbent 280, and then the lipase activity with the green color. Okay, so you have the flow through, fine, and then you have a few fraction for the flow through, and then you do the lipase assay. What happened here? Okay, you recover immediately your lipase activity. If you load 200 unit, you have 200 unit of lipase activity, everything 200 unit present in here. So that means you don't have to expect something will come out here because everything is in the flow through. Okay, that's why if all the protein or the lipase being eluted, I mean come out in the flow through section, and then after the end of the purification, there's no peak at all. Okay, we would say it is a very failed purification. Okay, fail sounds too rough. Maybe you can just say unsuccessful attempt or to purify the protein. Okay, so what you can say here, no binding at all to the resin. There is no binding to the column, and then the enzyme does not bind. Okay, no activity detected in the elution fraction. 0% recovery or yield. Of course, there's not. If there is nothing here, that means it is 0%. You got nothing. Okay. For this case, we know the problem is binding affinity towards the metric. There's no binding. How do we solve this problem? What happened? Do we need to recharge our resin first, or the buffer of the sample that we prepared is not equilibrated well with the buffer that we use during the binding. So all of this will lead to the fail in the binding. Then the purification definitely is fail. Okay, so still you can see the absorbent 280 for the flow through still high, as well as the lipase activity. Okay, okay, we go for the next one, maybe the last one for the chromatogram. We have here absorbent 280, and then we detect the lipase activity with this dark green color. Okay, starting from flow through, if you do the lipase assay, there's no activity. It looks like, wow, that's good. The binding is good because there is no lipase activity can be detected in the flow through. But what happened? There's no peak at all during the elution. Okay, this one another failure, but halfway. Why? Because the histag protein, the histag lipase, the protein that contains the histag, just now it binds to the resin too strong, which is it binds too tight. Thus, it cannot be eluted from the resin. Once the binding, we know the principle. The first principle, we want to make sure the target protein bind to the matrix. Yes, but if it is too strong, nothing will just nothing will come out later because the binding is too strong. What happened? Okay, okay. If the binding too strong, we cannot detect here. So we need to find ways to remove the enzyme from the resin so that it can be reused. If your protein, your target protein stuck in the matrix, in the resin, and cannot be eluted here, you need to find a way to flush all your protein, all your track protein in the matrix to make sure your resin can be used again. Otherwise, you will throw your resin, which is so expensive to be thrown away. Okay, so you need to find ways. Um, too much, too strong binding is not good. Not, less binding. I mean, not bind at all. That's the worst. But this one, you need to find ways how to make it less strong, and then still can be eluted from this part. Okay, so we move a little bit for the final image. We have the gel. Okay, whatever coming out from the flow through, washing, and elution, we need to check the purity of it using the gel. Okay, we will go to the gel step, gel topic theory later. So, but now gel is used to monitor the quality of the purification, the quality of the protein that has been purified. Okay, for example, you have this side, the upper part where you put the comb. Okay, the comb here contains the dissolving gel. The lower part is called stacking gel. Okay, the resolving gel, the upper part, is where you load your sample in here. Okay, your whatever protein sample from your purification last time, you load here, here, and here, right? Okay, so this is from the group 2, this is from group 1. Then you can see here, elution, washing, flow through, group. And then this is the marker. Protein marker is just like a ruler. It is a standard which being prepared by the company. Basically, we just order the marker. Okay, this is one of the example. The protein is measured in in Dalton, right? So the size is measured here from 116 kilodalton, and then the lowest one will be 15 kilodalton. Okay, the crude contain all the protein like we have discussed last time. The crude, if we have the E. coli containing 4,000 cell, 4,000 protein, and then this is the crude, 4,001, because together with the lipase that we want. So 4,000 plus 1, this is all of them, the crude. And then we have the flow through. The flow through where we have all the 4,000 protein. We expect only the impurities, I mean only the protein from the native host will be here. Not the one that we clone, not the foreign protein that we clone. Okay, so 4,000 will be here. And then during washing step, it should be nothing. Nothing, because we have nothing during washing step. It should be nothing. Flow through, yes, we should expect many bands there because we have high in 280 nanometer absorbent. So this it tells you that absorbent 280, okay, is the absorbent is high. That means it represents the 4,000 protein being eluted in here, I mean being collected here. Washing, it should be nothing because nothing touching the base. Okay. And then we have the elution. There's a single band for elution. Okay. Initially, we have thick band elution because our target protein size is 40, I would say 45 kilodalton. So this is 40. So it's around, it's 40 between 60. Most probably the 45 should be within here. Okay. So yeah, we have got the band between 40 to 60. Okay, so we are pretty sure that this band belongs to our protein. Okay, and then it is supported by the lipase assay. Yeah, lipase assay shows it has high in lipase activity. It proves this is big fat band of lipase. Okay, so here we can see we have only one band, one protein. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, if we want to evaluate the second gel, which is from this, the crude, yeah, similar crude like other, or this is from group 2 example, okay. Similar crude, flow through, yeah, flow through, but you can see here there is some thicker band in the flow through compared to this one. This one has more for this band for at the 45 kilodalton. Okay, and then there's also some bands in the washing together with the one that we want. Like some impurities being carried forward. Okay, if it is like this, that means the chromatogram. Okay, it just like, okay, this one to 18. Okay, the chromatogram is just like this. Okay, washing, not touching. Okay, there's some bumpy. And then after that, you got the peak, something like that. So it's not really touching the baseline. That's why you can see a few other bands here. It's not really touching. And there's some peaks here. These peaks may represent the other bands here. Okay, and then you can see the illusion here. Okay, because it is insufficient of washing, not enough CV. Okay, not enough CV for washing. That's why it will be carried forward during the illusion fraction here. So that means even though you have only one or two fraction, but your fraction is still unpurified. It's partially purified. I would say it's partially purified. It is not 100%. Okay. So this, I mean, if you have some kind like this, your chromatogram may be like this. But the purification table is different thing, right? Even though your purification table says that you have got like, for example, 90% of recovery from the purification table, doesn't mean you will have really pure like this. It's only recover 90% of your lipase activity, but it doesn't tell you that you have got a really pure enzyme there. So in order to check the eluted, I mean the recovery, I mean whatever the purified protein, the purity of it, you need to run this gel. Then you can discuss. Oh, okay, I'm pure enough. I got this, and then this is wow, that's good. But what if you have got 90% recovery, but still many impurities here? So if there is still many impurities here, and then still a lot of things being okay, some of the lipase being what I call it being flushed out during the in the flow through section, meaning that during the injection sample, I mean buffer preparation need to be optimized. Okay, and then even washing step need to be optimized. You need more CV to wash this so that you can get a really clean, I mean touching the baseline before you start to apply the illusion buffer. Okay, if you have something like this and then you keep optimizing still this pattern, don't worry. We will go for the next step of purification, which is different technique of purification, which I shared in the Putra Blast in week 10. I just recently uploaded last night. So you can see the HIC, gel filtration, and then ion exchange chromatography. There are a few other techniques. So those purification technique can be used to polish your protein so that you can get only one band, just like this. Okay, so how long have I been taking? Okay, it's almost half an hour. Okay, only 2 minutes left. So any question? Any question from you guys? From which what we call it? Which figure? This is figure one. Yeah, figure two, figure three, four, five. Okay, let me go to the chat. Hmm. Yeah, we are open for Q&A session. We're done. You can even type your question.
Doctor,
Yes.
Doctor, I want to ask about the marker. What type of marker that we use? Because just now you only draw 7 bands, right? But in our gel it has 8 bands.
Okay. For that one, I need to check the code of the marker because different company will supply different kind of marker size. I mean, some they will start with not 160, maybe with 200 or something. I will need to check with the who's that girl? The lab staff. What kind of marker they have used?
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
Okay. Any more question? Marker. Go like this. What is M and C in the gel? M is for the marker. C is for your crude. I mean, before you start doing the purification, you did assay for the crude, right? So C is for the crude. Okay. Okay, you need to turn on your mic, otherwise I cannot read and okay. So any more questions? Which part that you don't understand? Which figure, which chromatogram do you think is yours? Yeah. Which chromatogram do you think is yours? Are you guys okay or lost? Or you want to me to explain which part? Okay, what is this? Hmm, check. In washing tube, why there is no protein? Okay, so washing step is where we want to start to separate flow through and then the elution. The principle is first make sure your target protein bind to the resin, and then how do we know that the flow through is done? It is done when we can see all the proteins, all the unbound protein being um, discarded from the column. I mean, this is where the column now is clean from the unbound protein. What inside the column now is only the target protein, because your target protein is already bound to the resin, and then all the impurities, they are all being um, flushed out in the fraction. And then the washing step, this is where you know that okay, we have sufficient of the we have done the sufficient a sufficient washing. Then it's time for you to start to apply the elution buffer. If you still remember, you have different buffer, right, between washing and elution. Basically it will look like this. You have different buffer here. Okay, if this is salt concentration, right? So you can see here this is with your sample, and then once it is here, it is straight line. Okay, and now you know, okay, you have nothing now. I mean, your protein is no longer there. This is where you start to apply your buffer, elution buffer. So for this case, if you know that, okay, there's no longer protein in the washing, it's time for me to apply the elution. The elution buffer is not being applied here. It is being applied maybe here. This is the gradient of washing with the different salt concentration. For example, for our case, we elute the protein with imidazole, right? Imidazole, and then we elute with 500 millimolar. 500 millimolar basically is the highest. But the 500 millimolar basically will flush everything trapped in the resin. Everything in the resin will be flushed out with this concentration. That's why by the end of the day, we call this regeneration. Yeah, we have the regeneration step. regeneration step. Basically, we want to regenerate the resin so that it can be reused for the next batch. Okay, so if you apply the gradient of the imidazole dilution, this is the 0%. Okay, maybe in your washing or even in your binding buffer, you have the imidazole concentration with um, 20 millimolar, maybe, or maybe 0 millimolar. You have nothing. It depends. This one also a room for optimization. You don't know. Either you should use 20 millimolar, or maybe you should use 25 or 30. You don't know. This one still you need to optimize. Okay. Once you have got this, okay, you know that you have nothing left here. Okay, it's time to elute. This one is where you have 20, right? Starting. Okay, if you have used 20 millimolar in your binding buffer and washing buffer, you have 20 millimolar here. And then imidazole here. If it is the 100% of imidazole here is 50 millimolar, 500 millimolar. 500 millimolar is 100%. If your protein being eluted in here, this is about 50%. 50% of salt. That means it is between 250 millimolar. So next time, you don't have to prepare that 500 millimolar to elute your protein. You just need to prepare maybe 300 millimolar or even 250 millimolar for the sake of taking or harvesting all your protein that bind to it from here. Okay, we didn't go this detail, but since you are asking, this is how it looks like. It's not like, because for your case last time, you have only one tube here, one tube here, and one tube here. One tube for elution, meaning that you have used only 500 millimolar. That means your lipase now is mixed with 500 millimolar of imidazole. Okay, because we know that 500 millimolar, everything in the column will be flushed out. Okay, maybe for our lipase, we don't even need 500. Okay, so if we do not your graph, it will be like this. Flow through, going down, and then you immediately elute. You see, you have a mixture of flow through and then washing and then flow through. Just imagine this kind of thing, this kind of graph, because this is not touching zero, you will get this kind of gel. I mean, this kind of result. Elution still mixed with the other proteins in washing step because it is insufficient washing. Is it okay? Apa yang tanya tadi? Who's asking just now? Um, any more question? Okay. Where's the question? Check. Um, what does red and black lines there mean? Why having two lines? Okay. Like we discussed earlier, this line, the black color represents the absorbent 280 that you have used to measure the protein concentration using spectrophotometer. This is not the Bradford assay, but this absorbent 280 will give you almost similar result to your Bradford assay. Okay, the red color represent your lipase assay. You want to detect either there is a lipase inside this protein or not. That's why you perform lipase assay. You check for the lipase activity. the green color assay. If you still remember, you have got the green colors. Um, I mean, using the exooctane, and then you got the crystal green color. Then that one is used to measure the lipase activity. So even here, what we want to say here, even though we have high in protein, but this protein does not represent the lipase. They are all impurities. Okay, this black color represent the all the proteins in the flow through. But this flow through does not have the lipase activity. That's why the red color, which represents the lipase activity, which represented by the red color graph, there's nothing, almost nothing in the flow through section. So this is important. You cannot just simply run lipase activity while doing the purification because it is ongoing, right? You cannot stop by doing it and stop for doing lipase assay because lipase assay will finish at least 2 hours. So you don't want by having only one fraction, you stop for a while and then you do the lipase assay. And then you go for the second fraction, you stop for another 2 hours for the sake of checking this, right? So in order to check the pattern of this, you need to have this. This is the fastest way. Whatever coming out immediately will be measured by absorbent 280. Okay. So what else? Yeah. Anyone else? Shoshigashini, is it okay for you? Why do you have black lines there? Shugashini, right? Okay. How do we know we need to stop washing since we have only used? Okay. Okay. So for Nani, okay, for our lab last time during the lab session, we have only miniaturized purification system, meaning that it just provide you only one time solution, only one solution for washing, only and then one for illusion. And then basically for washing and even for binding, I mean we have prepared your enzyme basically, your cell being sonicated with the binding buffer. Your cell is not being sonicated with the glycine sodium hydroxide last time. It was binding buffer basically. Okay, so in real life, we should have this kind of tubes, many tubes at the bottom of the column to collect all the solution coming out from the column. Okay, when you apply the sample, okay, when you start applying your sample, you start to collect the flow through. Okay, the flow through is not supposed to be only one tube. It's supposed to be a lot too, because you may have like a um, 20 ml sample, and then from that 20 ml, maybe you want to collect here 5 ml, 5 ml, 5 ml, and then another 5 ml. 3 ml, it's up to you. 3 ml, 3 ml, and 3 ml, because we don't want this washing step basically. We don't want anything from the washing step. And then for illusion, maybe some of you want to collect only 2.5 ml, 2.5 ml, 2.5 ml. And then for regeneration, because there's nothing left here, maybe you want to collect, okay, almost nothing here. I want to collect 4 ml. It's up to you. So in lab session last time, we use only one solution for washing, one solution for illusion. Okay, we just miniaturize, and then we want to know from that kind of purification, can we get this kind of profile from crude, okay, this kind of protein profile from crude to pure. This is what we call from crude mixture of 4,000 animal protein to pure, which is only one protein band. This is important. Once we have got this one band, that means this protein only one single band, and then it is optimally in a good buffer system that we want. Okay. So what's next? We want to characterize this protein. We want to know what is the features of this protein, what is the pH optimal for this protein, what is the optimal temperature for this protein, stability of this protein, what kind of inhibitor can inhibit the function of this protein, what kind of substrate is good for this protein. Okay, I believe you have done the characterization, right? I mean, the role play with Dr. Sherry last semester. Okay, so last semester one, the first semester, you have done that the role play. Every group uh, had done the presentation based on the enzyme characteristic. Okay, so that's the way we need to have a pure protein first before we start to do the characterization. If we do this from the crude, that's okay, but your result may be interfered by the other impurities because the other impurities may have contributed. Definitely will give you some different kind of characteristic of your target protein because this band may be represent protease, amylase, glutinase, oxidoreductase, transferase. So it mix up the whole thing. So in order to understand the features of the protein, the molecular level of the protein, I mean the structure of the protein, we need to start with the pure protein. Okay? Okay. So any more question? Let me check. Hmm, I want to ask. Okay. Is that clear, Nani? Why do you have only one in the lab? Okay, I want to ask about the recent chromatography picture. I want to ask about the recent chromatography picture you have loaded in Discord recently. Why are two peaks during elution? After elution have been added. Okay, so in case, okay, that's another story. Yeah, we need more problem so that we know how to assess. Okay, in case you have this profile and then suddenly, because this is gradient, right? You keep applying the different concentration of imidazole. Let's say you have done this, start to apply the elution, and then suddenly there's another peak here. Do you think it is worth to run lipase assay this one? Another black peak here. I mean, another black peak. Yeah, this peak, 280 absorbent. Okay. Once you have got this kind of thing, okay, this obvious peak and this another peak, this peak also you need to run for lipase assay. Just check what is this. If this is also a lipase, then we need to check why this lipase having two different position. It coming out at position at fraction 13, 14, 15, and suddenly comes out again at fraction 20, 19, and 20. We need to check in here. It is good to have only one, but normally if we have to get something like this, okay, basically this is one of them may not be your protein. It's a peak, but not your lipase. I mean, it is a peak, but when you check for lipase activity, there's nothing. Yeah, there's no red color graph. It's possible. Okay, so maybe the first peak is not lipase. The second peak is your lipase. Okay, So if the second peak is your lipase activity, meaning that the protein, I mean your lipase, has been eluted maybe at 60% of imidazole. Okay, maybe at 60% imidazole. So you don't want this, meaning that this protein, I mean this peak, has competed with your target, your lipase 2. It compete the specific binding site here. Binding site here is meant only for lipase, but it's also being used by others. So you need to optimize the imidazole back here, the binding buffer here. Okay, you don't want to have many peaks for this. Okay. So I can't read it. You mentioned in the lab if the protein is not pure, so we should repeat the experiment. Yes, if there is not, if there is the purification is not pure, I mean you still get this. If you got by the end of the purification, you just get a few other bands. I would say if you have this, but majority of this is yours. Like maybe I would say this one is about 80% purity. If it is acceptable for your next analysis, you can go ahead. But if you plan to solve the structure of this protein, you cannot use this one. Cannot use this one. And then when you have other impurities here, this side will reduce your fold. See the purification fold. How many fold have you increased in terms of the specificity? Every gram of it, something like that. Because these other bands will contribute to the protein reading. Okay, so yeah, if not only this kind of impurities, whatever step you have problem from the beginning, yeah, if this kind of problem, okay, no binding, it's too strong, okay, if the binding is too strong, if there's no binding, okay, if there is poor binding or not so good binding, okay, yeah, maybe this one not, maybe this one for this kind of case you have lost a lot, right? Maybe this is one factor. Another factor, you can even adjust the flow rate. I mean, if you still remember the things here, you can during the sample application, you can adjust the flow rate of the sample, okay, the crude sample, okay, load the sample slowly to the metric. I mean, use as low as maybe 0.5 mil per minute. If you have 20 mil of your sample, okay, if your sample, you have 20 mil of your crude sample, and then you need the flow rate really slow so that it will facilitate, it will give more time to your crude to bind to the ligand here. So you can even reduce to 0.5 mil per minute. If you have used 0.5 mil per minute of the flow rate to inject your sample, to inject the crude into resin, so you need at least 40 minutes, right? To finish only this side. No, to finish only the injection, the sample application. Almost this side, yeah. So if you have the crude size 20 mil, flow rate 0.5 mil per minute, you need 40 minutes to finish this area. Not considering this, not considering this, okay? And then if it is fail, not so good, still not so good, adjusting the flow rate, increase the raising volume, I mean the CV increase, still not so good, a room for optimization. Another room optimization is, okay, adjust this. Maybe the imidazole here will help to facilitate the binding of the protein. Yeah. Every time you want to repeat the purification, that means you repeat from scratch. You need to start to grow your protein. Or maybe if your protein if your enzyme coming from the plant, you start to get the plant again. Okay, get the fresh plant and then do it. Okay. Okay, so what's next? Another question. Okay. Check. Mm, if looks like if our gel looks like the G2, okay, what does the graph look like? Okay, if you have the gel, looks like this, okay, you see, you have the crude, you have the flow through, and the washing is insufficient, and then you have the illusion. How to go back? Why I cannot see my close this chat? What's the video? Mm, I want to
Video
see
pun
my
tak
video. Video, I cannot see my own video. Go to what?
button start video. Ada tak Doktor?
Stop video.
Start video. Tekan lagi sekali. Ya.
Oh, no, but the thing is I can only see the you guys, but not my screen. What happened?
Swipe to the left-hand side, Doctor.
Huh?
Swipe to the left-hand side.
Okay. Okay, then I twist this camera. Okay. I want to make it bigger. Why I can't see it? Why it is so small? Just now is okay. Like this. Why? Okay, now I got it. What's the what was the question just now? I don't want to go back to that side. Okay, how it looks like, right? Okay, so if you have this kind of G2, it will be just like this. You see, you have the flow through, and then the washing is not touching the zero line, the baseline, and then you immediately apply the elution buffer. And then of course, the eluted protein here will contain the mixture of the unbound protein. Okay. Okay, let me go slowly. Go to chat. Okay. So what happen if what happened if C3, what is C3 and 2H4? Vera, I don't understand. What is C3 and 2H4 is added? Oh, okay. Imidazole. Okay, sorry. What happened? If we have more imidazole, for example, if we have okay, we eluted with the last time you eluted with 500 millimolar of imidazole, right, in the elution buffer. So what happened? You still can get this pure band. Yeah, this band and this band. What happened? This high salt concentration basically will give you some effect to your protein. Okay, the characteristic of the protein is being influenced by the imidazole. So to have a good characteristic, uh, you need to remove the imidazole first. Okay, it's good to remove the imidazole, replace with a normal buffer like phosphate buffer or whatever buffer, just like normal uh, saline or something for the sake of you want your protein um, to be unstable, say not influenced by something else. Of course, and you have 500 millimolar imidazole in here, it will interfere with your protein characterization later on. Okay, so oops, no, um, I should go to check. Um, Bindings means our target protein will bind to the buffer, is it? No. Uh, uh, Binding buffer or the binding process, meaning that your his tag, your his tag protein. For our case, we have the his tag lipase. Okay, the his tag lipase, where your lipase, okay, you have your lipase, okay, containing the his tag. Okay, your lipase here having the his tag. So if you have the lipase here, okay, and then our lipase is located at the end terminal, if I'm not mistaken, right? From the paper. Okay, if it is at the end terminal, mean that this is the his tag. Okay, his tag, histidine repeat. Okay, this is end terminal, this is C terminal of your protein. Okay, the binding process, meaning that the protein with this histidine tag, the lipase his tag protein, bind to the column, bind to the matrix. Okay, my where the okay, okay. So this his tag, okay, this his tag will bind to the column. Okay, this is your, okay, you have the column, right? You have the column. Okay, inside this column, you have the bead, you have the resin, you have the metric here. This metric has been designed. Okay, you have used nickel, nickel, uh, nickel sapphirus. Okay, so this nickel has the affinity to the imidazolium. His tag contains imidazolium ring. Okay, we have the ring here. Will bind to this. This histidine, which is 6 times histidine, we have 6 imidazolium ring. Imidazolium ring will trap inside this bead. Okay, this is the binding process where you apply your protein, which is from the crude, to the bead. Protein from the crude bind to the bead. The protein which has other protein which do not have this histidine repeat, which do not have the imidazole, they will not bind to this. Okay, I know other impurities will have the histidine, yes, but not hardly to find a protein having histidine like histidine 6 times histidine, one shot. So, but this histidine repeats we have designed to fuse with our lipase here. So that's why this protein, this protein lipase will be captured by this nickel separose at the imidazolium ring. Okay, by the end of the day, we have the 500 millimolar imidazole. 500 millimolar will have the imidazole ring. The imidazolium ring, which Okay, sorry. Okay, so this imidazolium ring will bind to this, and then the imidazole, okay, the imidazole will flush and kick the imidazolium ring out from this. That's why we have in the illusion. Okay, I repeat, when you apply the sample, inject the sample to the column, you apply this, meaning that all the histag lipase will bind to the column. The other impurities, which are the proteins which do not have the histidine repeat, will be out. Okay. The last step, which is the elution, we apply the 500 millimolar imidazole. The imidazole will flush or will take place in the column. Okay. So that the imidazolium ring will be out and then come as elution. Okay. Hope that part clear. So, any more questions? My last word, yeah, I have responded for Nani's question. His text bind to the column. Okay. So, any more question? Hello, guys. Are you still there? Toba, do you have question, Toba? Um, Ifa, do you have question? Okay. I think, yeah. So, if this part is okay, and then you understand what happened to your purification table, it is good or not. You know how to check on the gel. Okay, please remind me about the gel size, the marker size. What is the question? What is imidazole used in purification? Okay, so why imidazole is used in protein purification? What is another possible reagent? Okay, so this is affinity chromatography, meaning that uh, we use now. We use now histidine. Histidine is um, the metric for histidine is nickel. Okay, and then to recharge the nickel, we need copper. Okay, so when we have histidine, okay, the and then inside histidine, it has imidazolium ring. How come you put something else to compete with the imidazolium ring? So we need almost similar. Um, okay, I rephrase this. You have histidine. Inside histidine, you have imidazolium ring. Imidazolium ring bind to the ligand, which is nickel just now. And then in this case, you need to use imidazole. So that because imidazole will have more affinity towards nickel than the imidazolium. Okay, if you use other affinity, if you use GST tag, okay, we have also let me check. I can give you a list of tag. You can even use antibody. Um, we can use another one for the uh, if GST we use glutathione. Um, that maltose also you can have. It depends on the what kind of tag you use. Okay, his tag is one of the tag. Okay, okay. So you got it right. So you have Okay, so for now, you can drop questions to the Discord or everywhere. Yeah, Discord so that I can keep track what's where we are now. Okay, so for now we have done for the purification. We have done to check to analyze your chromatogram. Okay, what happened, what we should expect if this kind of thing happen, where to optimize, how to optimize, is it good or not? Yeah, you decide. But okay, the next activity is you need to submit your lab report. I have seen a couple of report from practical one. Most of you have submitted. Yeah, that's some of you. It's okay. But for the next one, hopefully you can use a paper for your reference. Do not use like from the Wikipedia, from the blog, from use a proper paper or book to cite. For example, your finding is comparable to the finding by Lee et al. 2020, something like that. So you need to find, and then plus the format. The format should be standard. If you choose to use what we call it IEE format, please use that one throughout the reference, the way you cite. Not like sometimes the reference, the full the journal name, you put abbreviation. Sometimes in full name. So make it standard. If you want to use, for example, from protein expression and purification, okay, the journal name is protein expression and purification. If you want to use the full name, use the full name. If you want to use the abbreviation, make a standard abbreviation. Google. What is the abbreviation for protein expression and purification? Okay, we don't want some journal you use full name, some you use we call it abbreviation, and then some of the volume number and page number. Sometimes it is italicized, sometimes it is not. So please make it standard. Okay. Okay. So we can have the report, or maybe after it. I'll give you we can discuss later. When will be the best time to submit your report? I would say maybe um, 5th day of Eid. Are you okay? Or are you still in the Eid mood? Okay, never mind. We discuss later about the date of submission. Yeah. Okay. Lab report 2. How do you want the SDS result be? Measure the bands with the ladder graph. Yeah. Okay, for the SDS, just snap the picture of yours. For example, okay, you have got this. You have shared right the picture, the gel. So for example, if you are from group 1, okay, just crop the picture of this and then discuss. Okay, it looks like the crude is there, the band within the 40 to 60, which represent the expected band, which is 45 kilodalton is there. And then the washing step also clear the flow through. And then from the elution side, there's nothing in the elution, meaning that only the pure protein is there. Okay, the quality of the purified protein is 100% pure, something like that, 99% pure, something like that. Okay, so if you have got like this, okay, you have got the band but mixed with the some impurities. Okay, maybe this kind of band is how many percent pure? It can be pure. I mean, it can be further purified using a few other techniques like gel filtration, maybe, or maybe IEX, or even you can suggest you want to increase you want to adjust you want to perform the gradient first, or you want to improve the washing step first? Yeah, we want to know. Okay. Okay. Measure the middle ladder. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it. We will discuss with the group leaders and everybody when we're going to submit this. But please make sure you have done. All of you know how to calculate the protein concentration, lipase activity, specific activity, and all of those stuff, and then how to construct the purification table. Okay, so that yeah, at least it makes sense now. Okay, so any more questions? Last but not least, or else we close it here. Okay, Izati, no more. So yeah, please sign the attendance today. With today's date, and then as usual, drop a question there so that I know where are you now based on the questions. Okay, if there's no more, thank you for your participation. And then yeah, we already but I'm okay with all those questions that you asked. Okay. Ke senyap je, where are you guys? Yeah, attendance is in the Google Sheet. Yeah, maybe Iman and or Divian can repost that attendance. Yeah, and this one maybe for today's meeting, yeah, Izati will or someone will have to post this in the YouTube. Okay, so that you can blast to your friends. Okay, see you guys next time. Selamat Hari Raya. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Thank you, Doktor. Selamat Hari Raya.
Ha, bunyi pun suara.
Semua takut.
Okay, see you. Bye. Kenapa?
Sebab takut bergema. Nanti
You all
bertemu.
ni. Oh, okay. Tak apalah. Okay, see you. Bye.
Thank you,
Okay,
Doctor. Bye.
Okay,
Bye, Doktor.
bye.
Selamat Hari Raya, Doktor.
Okay. Boleh ambil gambar ramai-ramai tak? Macam mana?
Boleh.
Boleh.
Macam mana? Semua turn on the video.
Aduh.
How to? Okay, macam mana?
Ada gallery view tak, Doktor?
Okay, terbalik. Saya tak ada apa-apa. Pakai tudung kejap. Non Nabilah. Nah. Mana? Tak nampak pun muka. Siapa
Ada
yang boleh ada ni? Gallery view.
Saya ambil.
Tak apalah, yang mana nampak muka lah. I mean, at least nampak berapa orang.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Dah lah. Dah lah. Okay, nanti post dekat Discord pun boleh.
Okay.
Doktor, yang dekat attendance tu dekat nak tanya kena tanya soalan lagi ke dekat bahagian komen tu?
Tanyalah apa-apa pun. Cakap apa yang you faham pun okay. Whatever you have understood today pun okay. Just a few words. Okay? Okay, bye. Selamat berbuka, dah letih. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Doktor.